The island of Meridian had no electricity. It didn't need it. For as long as anyone could remember, the light that pushed back the deep velvet of the night came from 100 glass lanterns, hung on wrought iron poles along the cobbled paths. And for just as long there had been a lamplighter. His name was Elias, and he was a man of few words, each one measured and slow, emerging from his chest like sound from a deep, well-tuned cello. Every evening, 1 hour before dusk, he would begin his rounds, a long brass lighting pole resting on his shoulder. The children believed he carried a piece of the sun in the small oil canister on his belt. The adults simply nodded to him with a respect usually reserved for the sea itself. They knew his job was about more than light. It was about memory. Each lantern had a name. Elias never spoke them aloud, but he knew them all. He would stop before a lantern with a sea-green glass, his large, calloused hand gently wiping the pane. "This is for Captain Finn," his voice would rumble, a private sound for the glass and the gathering dark. Who loved the sound of his wife singing in their garden more than the cry of gulls? He would lift his pole, touch the wick, and a flame would spark to life, filling the green glass with a warm, aquatic glow. He would move on. A lantern with a crack in its base, he paused here longer. "This is for little Mara," he murmured, the deep tones softening at the edges. Who would leave crumbs here for the sparrows and believed they sang their thanks to her every morning. The light flared, and for a moment, the crack seemed not a flaw, but a unique thread of gold. His journey was a slow, deliberate ritual of remembrance. A lantern for the baker whose bread fed the entire village after a storm. A lantern for the old woman who mended nets and told fortunes in the knots. With each one, he would voice a quiet, anchoring truth about the person it honored, as if tying their spirit safely to the light. He saved the last lantern for himself. It stood at the very end of the pier looking out over the endless black ocean. This lantern had clear, flawless glass. He stood before it, his broad frame silhouetted against the star-dusted sky. He didn't use his pole here. Instead, he struck a match on the sole of his boot and cupped the flame with his hand, opening the small door to light it the old way. This one, his voice was at its deepest now, a low hum that the sea seemed to listen to. This one is for Eleanor, who told me that a light at the end of a pier isn't a marker for those who are lost, but a beacon for those who are found. He smiled, a rare and gentle thing in the twilight. She said it was a promise that the way home is always lit. He closed the glass door and the flame settled, burning steady and bright. It joined the 100 other points of light that dotted the island's hills, a constellation of stories against the night. Elias shouldered his pole and turned for home, his shadow long and quiet on the cobblestones. Behind him the lanterns glowed, not just with fire, but with the echoes of laughter, the memory of songs, and the quiet, unbroken promise that no one who was loved was ever truly forgotten.